Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This one's for my long-suffering dragon-loving fans. Now I know we've been doing plenty on the dino side of things, but PNSO and Collector just unloaded a bunch of treasures in one continuous wave, and I just had to share them. Especially with PNSO, it seems there's an announcement almost every other day. It's good news, but I wish they just unload the full reviews at one go, so we know how many we have to look forward to, and alas, how much we'll have to spend. Now today, I'm going to do another Safari Limited Dragon. And I was inspired to choose this one because of the recent election with the seemingly endless wait we have to endure for the final result. Now some of you old enough will understand that reference, but if not, stay a while and I'll explain later. Now this is the Good Luck Dragon. According to Safari, it slightly resembles a lion and is the only dragon species with mammalian characteristics. It's also one of the friendliest dragons known and a symbol of good fortune. The first thing you'll notice is that this has a very serpentine form, like the Chinese dragon. So indeed, that might be where the good fortune part was inspired. If you look at the head, it does look mammalian, but actually looks more like a friendly dog to me than a lion. Also, look at the tilt of the head and the very dog-like nose, just like a playful puppy. It's got features very reminiscent of the Chinese dragon. The form of the mane is there, but in this area, they are actually distinct ears. That creates a very nice profile, but also from top, it looks like an arrowhead, so that's pretty cool. Now, I love the way the fur and the scales have been handled. You can see both here. The sculpted detail is just fantastic. If you look at the fur, such very fine detail. And these scales over here, overlapping in jutting relief, is just nice to look at and nice to feel. The beard is there, but unlike in the Chinese dragon, it continues all the way down to the chest, very manly. In fact, besides the main body covered in scales, the dragon's almost entirely covered in fur. Scales and fur, just like the tauntaun, which is supposedly a mammalian reptile. Equally implausible? I would have thought so before we discovered this guy. I've got plenty to say about the color. You see how these browns blend so softly into the white? And even within the browns, there are different shades, and how these blend gently into the surrounding white. Not just here in the head, but down the spine. The more dorsal scales, the elbows, the toes, and even on the soles of the feet. You know, it's just so soothing to look at. Again, it reminds me of dog fur, such as you see on this dog. Now, I don't know anything about dogs, but I believe this is called a papillon. Someone please correct me below. There's also a slight shine, and if I tilt the dragon, I think you'll be able to see it more clearly. And that creates almost an iridescent feel, although it doesn't really change color. They didn't just use metallic paint, but I believe some kind of transparent gloss very carefully over just the white areas and not just lazily over the entire dragon to create this shining, shimmering effect. Very magical and appropriately so for a magical dragon. Of course, you'll see that this dragon actually has 3 pairs of legs, which if you think about it, a true dragon has 6 limbs, 4 legs and a pair of wings. So this shares a common ancestry and has retained this pair of appendages for locomotion. Yet it flies without wings, just like the Chinese dragon. So if you're fanciful, you can imagine that this dragon eventually lost this pair of limbs, and from that we evolved the later forms like the Chinese dragon. Finally, if you didn't know, this is actually a representation of Falker or Falkor, the luck dragon from a very old movie, The Never-Ending Story. I don't know the backstory behind Safari getting the rights, but they've captured it almost exactly as I remember it. and it really brings me a sense of nostalgia. Just like The Flight of Dragons, this was a movie that fired my imagination of dragons because they were moving images, unlike pictures in a book. I've actually had this dragon for a while and was thinking of reviewing him next year, but the never-ending nature of the vote count for this election was too big a link for me to resist and not to jump on, and so here he is. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this review. As you can see, Safari Limited really has some good quality dragons, and not just in the traditional style, but as evinced by this, and also the flower dragon I reviewed a while ago, they're happy to include quirky or whimsical dragons into their dragon line. And I think that if you enjoy some diversity and you want some dragons more accessible to people you want to introduce dragons to, like maybe children or a girlfriend, then it's a great thing these unusual dragons exist. Alright my friends, hope you've had a good week. Now I don't know if by the time I put this up, the never-ending story, at least for the election, has ended, but whatever happens, I hope it will be the best thing for all of us, because this is going to affect not just my friends in the US, but the world at large. So good luck to all of us. I'll see you soon.